Zoom recording. See, I even remembered to record my own event. How amazing.
Wonderful.
Yeah, see, I learn as well. Welcome, come on in. I think for the next, we'll just wait for another minute or two for people to come on in, and it would be great to know where you're from. So pop in the chat where you're from, please. It would be lovely to see it. I love seeing where everyone is from and how we are such an international group. So we've got a couple of my colleagues here, and they're going to be in the chat chatting with you today. Okay. We will get started in a minute.
So just in case you can't see the chat, Av, we've got Gold Coast, Perth, Bris Vegas, Frankfurt, midnight at Frankfurt, Brownie Point, Queensland, welcome, Bribie Island, and Vancouver, Canada. So definitely a international representation here today.
Yes, for sure. And for those that are coming in from Europe and the UK, that's just a bit of a shout out. It's like what, 11 p.m. or midnight in Europe, 11 p.m. in the UK. So yes, we might need to be doing a bit of shout out to nudge you to keep you awake. So hopefully I can keep you awake and the dulcet tones of my voice won't send you off to sleep. All right, I am going to get started, and anyone that comes in, they can just start, they can listen in as we go. So welcome, how to position your business with a 6-star approach. I am your host, obviously, it's me for those of you who haven't met me, and I'm going to take you through. Now, I'm going to respect your time. We're going to stop at the top of the hour, okay? So we will have a hard stop. And as we go along, actually, no, I'll get to housekeeping in a tick. First of all, let's go to me. Who am I? For those of you who haven't met me before, I'm the founder of 6-Star Business, and also my other business called Journey Point. I'm the host of the 6-Star Business podcast, and on a personal note, I love nature, people, and living life authentically, which will probably show through in some of the content today. Let's get started. This is the housekeeping. First of all, if you could, I just ask that you could please turn off distractions. So mobiles, computer notifications, barking dogs. I have 2 children in the background, but they've got headsets on and they're looking after my dogs, so they're all under control. I ask that you be open to the new. There's going to be some new insights, new concepts, new things being spoken about today. And I ask that you be open and ready for that. And please engage with us in the chat and again at the end. So we won't have a breakout in this event, but I do invite you to engage. I've got Joanne and Steve who will be chatting in the chat. So feel free to put any questions in the chat that you have. If you want the slides, they can be made available. Just ask for them in the chat at the end. This over the top right here, this legend to take notes. Where you see this, write these down. It's my recommendation that you write them down, okay? So I hope you've got notepad and pen if you want. Some people like to just take screenshots of things. I'll have some slides that you may want to write some notes down. So yeah, that's just what that legend is when you see that on a slide, okay? I wanted to have a call out to these amazing people. This is the 6-Star team, and there's a few of us here right now, and they have been around for a good part of the last 18 months, coming up to 2 years, but have really formalized the core energy of 6-Star and helped us to formulate what 6-Star means. So if you don't know them, or you're lucky to know them, please reach out to them. They are always open to a connection on LinkedIn, and you can say that you attended this event. All right, the session format today. So in the next 57 minutes or so, I'm going to cover what is 6-star. I'll share some stats with you from some previous events that we had, which drove this actual event. I'm going to introduce me as an anti-marketer and explain what that means. We'll go through some issues, solutions, and a couple of polls. You're going to hear from an expert on our team. We'll talk about a way forward, and then we'll have Q&A and wrap up. Okay, so first of all, you might be asking, well, what is 6-star? And it's the best description I've come up with to succinctly say it is a way of being in business where your purpose, people, and profits are equally valued and at the center of all you do. So in terms of how that is expressed and lived, right, it's all those yellow things at the bottom. So when we are looking beyond the bottom line, we're being authentic, we're not operating at the expense of other people or the planet, we're going beyond the status quo, we're creating meaningful experiences, we're doing things differently, bringing our purpose to our work, feeling whole, finding joy and meaning, demonstrating humanity. These are all the sort of lived expressions of what it means to be 6-star. And there's always the question, well, does that make us profitable? And I have to say, well, absolutely it does, because when you're in alignment with these things and you're in alignment, it's all about being profitable. We had a roundtable last week where we discussed the whole purpose and profit conversation and how purposeful business can stay profitable. And absolutely, it's our obligation to be profitable. And it's about getting the balance and understanding, why we're doing what we're doing. So hopefully that gives you a good solid grounding in what is 6-star. Now, first of all, I want to share this poll result. So over the last couple of events we ran, we had a number of people, we had about 92 people in total who answered the poll about what would they fix first in their business in order to have a 6-star business. 30% said they would grow their network of collaborative partners. Great. So 27% said they would fix marketing and positioning. Marketing and positioning is the thing that we realize is connected to our ability to communicate our value and our business and services to the world. So when I saw these numbers, I went, well, this is so exciting because, we have a 6-star community that we're opened up now to the world that is available. We are people that are more purposeful and we are doing business differently. And then I looked at that second one and I went, well, this is absolutely what we can help people with. Let's talk about how they can create better positioning using a 6-star approach. So that's where the impetus and the inspiration for this event came from. It came from the data, from people saying that they wanted to fix their marketing and positioning. So me as an anti-marketer. So why do I say that? I say it because I've been creating journeys for a long time. I started in the corporate world at Australia Post. I then went to NAB. I did it at NAB. And when I say journeys, I mean I created the employee experience. And I changed the game at both companies. I know how to create journeys. And what is that? It's a relationship between you and another person. And I started doing that about 18 years ago. In small business, it's the same. We create these journeys or these experiences with our prospects that become our clients, that become our friends almost, and it should be. So I've never liked calling myself a marketer, even though I've been in this space. Modern marketing for me is soulless, one-dimensional. It's very competitive, it's ego-driven, and it's transactional. I've worked alongside a lot of agencies over the past 15 years that are all of that. There might be nice people, but that is how they operate. And it is a cookie cutter empire. 6-star marketing for me is purposeful, it's soulful, And it's an expression of our true genius, and it's value driven. Notice that I haven't said that it's not one-dimensional, it's not competitive, it's not ego-driven, because it's implied, okay? So it's different. It's about being human. It's about bringing all of these 6-star aspects to our marketing. And I want to drop this line in at the bottom, our relationship to our passion and purpose. So if we tap into purpose, like, why are we here? Why are we in business? If you think about your relationship to that, it's related to how we are, how we be, right, on a daily basis, and how aware and connected we are. And we'll get a little bit more into that as we go on. Remember, I did say before, I want you to be open. There's some new concepts, there's some new thinking around this whole space. We're in a really fascinating space of marketing, that it's not one-dimensional, it's not black and white. This is not transactional, because I'm gathering, everybody here has values. You bring yourself to the world in some way, and you don't want to be soulless. You don't want to be one-dimensional. I bet you don't want to be that competitive in that space, driven by your ego and transactional. Most of us want actual human connections, and we want to feel that we're making a difference. We actually want to have meaning in our businesses. And this is the way forward. And it starts with the way that we show up, the way that we talk in our marketing. So I've compiled a list of what I believe are the issues people have today with their marketing and positioning their businesses. This is from the many, many years that I've been doing this and working with so many businesses across the world. And this is it. I distilled it down to these 8, and I'm going to go through each one, and hopefully you'll resonate. Some might be new to you, but I believe these are the issues that everyone's experiencing. First of all, that people compete with each other. This is societal. This is inbuilt in the old paradigms. So when I say old, the old paradigms of how to get ahead, and there's this pull to actually be competitive and get in there and go, right, who is your competitor? Okay, you need to beat the competitor. There's this focus on this, and that's an issue. We're told we copy others for ideas, content, and language. Now, some people go, well, yeah, it's good to get ideas and inspiration. Absolutely it is. I think one of the issues, though, is that if it comes from another person and not from you and your soul, then it's not yours. You can be inspired by someone else, but it's not really you. And that's not being unique. It's not being authentic. Where are you coming from in that space? The other one, people focus on products only. And this goes for services as well. Most people just sell their service or their product. And they say, look, here's my lipstick. This is amazing. My lipstick has all these fantastic ingredients, and it's cruelty-free, and it's this and it's that. And it'll cost $25, but if you buy it in the next 3 minutes, I'll give you 20% off, right? And I'll throw in some swabs or something. People focus on products. Now, everyone here doesn't have a widget product business. We have services. And when you focus on that product, i.e. your service first, you're forgetting about who you are. You're forgetting about who your customer is. That's a problem. I believe that language used is generic, sleazy, and not authentic. And I've seen this ever since I started doing this kind of work. We know there's some of the top marketers that I've kind of been across in the last 15 years, the Frank Kerns, the Dan Sullivan, and and then there's the NLP kind of marketers that use certain things to, and there's nothing wrong with NLP, and that's another conversation. But what I'm saying is the language used, that this scarcity language, the fear of missing out, the fear-based, the emotions. And look, my agency a number of years ago used to use that for our clients, because that's what they wanted, because they thought that that was the way to get sales, you know, using these tactics in the language and the content. And yet then when the prospect would come to the business owner, then it's like, wow, there's a disconnect, because the language doesn't represent who the person is. So if you go and use language you get from a book that you've bought off the internet on, you know, hey, the best copy lines to use to get someone to sell, how is someone going to feel that you're being authentic? Where are you? So language is really important. Language is the glue. This is the dance that we have with the world outside of us, and how we actually communicate who we are and our value. Next one is marketing agencies. I've seen many marketing agencies. I've had a digital agency for a number of years, and yeah, there's cookie cutter empires, you know, and unfortunately, business owners know how it works. You know, how many people here have dealt with marketing agencies and gone from one to the next, to the next, to the next. And you sign up, and each one promises the world, and they promise this and that. And you really don't get anything different from the previous one, except it's just cost you thousands and thousands of dollars. You've wasted a lot of time, and you've just gone through the process. It's similar to the corporate world, you know, when new CEOs come in and they go and change things, and they just go and, you know, do this 3-year cycle of changing everything. Like they change the windows and the words and what's on the front of the shop window. And it's the same, almost the same thing. And we go through these unfortunate experiences, and what that's created is a sense of mistrust with marketing agencies today. And they don't focus on individual unique value. They don't focus on anything else other than the dollar. Even recently, yeah, there was I've met a lot of lovely people that run marketing agencies, and all I'll say is that it takes a rare person who runs an agency that does it 6-star. I believe there's a lack of connection with the customer needs. I think a lot of business owners have lost the art of actually figuring out what their customers need and stuck with their product. Life is always evolving, and our customers are always changing, responding to what's going on in the environment. And we sometimes can get stuck in our, well, I've still got my lipstick here, but why isn't anyone buying it, you know? And it could be because that particular market needs lip gloss or something else, right? You know what I'm saying? So we've lost that ability to really just be open to that change. What else can be done? But also, what other gifts do I have that I can use to serve this changing market? And that's innovation. And as business owners, we hear about innovation, but I bet when you first hear of innovation, you probably straight away think of technology. And yet it's not that. It's so much more than technology. It's innovating for the sake of understanding your customers and meeting their needs and evolving. And it's constant. We're constantly evolving, just like nature. So there's this constant evolution. And it doesn't take a tsunami or a world event or a global pandemic. You know, we should always be open to change, and we should always be looking at innovation and how we can move with our customers' needs. I also believe that people don't know who they really are. And I know this is a bold statement, but what I've witnessed and experienced is a lot of people have not done enough work on themselves. But when I say that, I ask that you please don't come in with the preconceived ideas or a judgment about this. But if we're bringing ourselves to the world in a business, we have unique skills and gifts. If we know that there's a part of us that needs to come out into the world, we need to actually tap into that. And often we've just got these layers, layers of protection, layers of past fears, hurts, traumas, and all of this actually stops us from connecting with our inner genius, whatever you want to call it. Someone in the round table last week called it our higher self, soul, that thing, that inner part of us. And the more layers of stuff we have from our past and all our experiences that we haven't healed from or let go of or overcome, the harder it is to really know who we are. So therefore, how do we know how to show up in the world? And it's from that position that many people copy others, let a marketing agency do all their writing and their language, come up with all the ideas, and they sit behind this, but it's not satisfying. They're probably feeling very frustrated and not knowing why they don't feel authentic or aligned, and a whole of other things. People operate from a sense of fear and their outer wounds. So this follows on from that. When we operate in a state of fear, we can't be creative. That part of the brain shuts down. And if we do have wounds or trauma, and this could be business wounds, I'm talking, it could be experiences that people have had and it's hurt them. They might have had legal issues. They might have had, awful clients. They might have experienced things and not actually overcome them. Those memories, the emotional memories, they stick around us. And therefore, they operate from a place of protecting those wounds, but they're still wounded. And when you've got those pieces around you, you cannot be completely free. It's just, imagine you've just got like a few doonas wrapped around you. How can you do a dance when you're burdened down with like 3 doonas wrapped around you? It's like that, but on an energetic level. So these are the biggest issues that I see that people have today, and what stops them from actually being themselves and being free, being authentic, and shining their genius. Now, what I believe that most people need to overcome that, or to be successful and to be happy, is this. I believe people need to be understood in their communications, their language, with marketing, with their positioning. They need to feel that they are connecting with the right prospects. So again, this is feeling. So I'm talking human aspects of this now. We are not separate from our businesses. So when I use these words about feeling and energy, this is because we are it's us in our business, okay? So they need to feel that they're connecting with the right prospects. They need to see that they're on the right path. So getting that forward momentum. And that in turn gives them that energy and that vibrancy of, oh, I'm doing the right thing, I'm going forward. I believe that they need to understand themselves and their value in a deeper and more meaningful way. I think we haven't been taught to really tap into what our value is. We hide it almost, or we ignore it, and we just communicate an aspect of ourselves that is what we think the world wants to see, or what we don't want to be judged by. And I believe they need to overcome their limitations, and I've got in brackets there heal, because effectively that's what it is. That's what I believe most people need. What most people think they need is more leads, more sales, and everything that delivers those two things. Because you're not going to get more leads and more sales unless you've gotten this. Again, we are not separate from our business and our products. We are the reflection of our business and our products and services. So this is what we need, and this will come. But most unfortunately, our society is driven by this, and the companies and the engine that exists of just promising more leads and more sales by these marketing agencies. All right, I'm going to run a poll now, and going back to the list of the issues that I went through, the 8 issues, I'm going to put those on the screen, and I would love you to choose from all of those and select all of them that you think apply to you today. So this is something I am really fascinated to know. So the poll should jump up on your screen. Just go through and select all of those that apply. Yeah.
I can't seem to select anything.
Ah.
Maybe because I'm admin, co-host. That's right.
Yeah, I'm okay.
I'll just make sure everybody else can.
Yeah, I can do it. Yep.
I'm okay. Yeah.
Okay, it must be me because I'm co-host. That's cool.
Okay.
Just wanted to...
So
Good to know.
just to be clear, so this is, we think that this is how we're behaving.
Yep, that's correct.
Great. Okay, thanks.
Yes, thanks for that clarification, Steve. Yes. And I've got an other at the bottom. So please put in the chat if there's something else, anything else that you that applies to you. So still waiting for a few people to complete. We've got almost half on it. We've got more than half come through, which is great. You're doing really well. Thanks, everyone. Yeah. Again, if you've selected other, I'm really keen to see what that is. And please pop it in the chat for Steve and Joanne. We're almost there. Got a couple more coming through. Almost got one. Is there someone who's still partway through selecting? I might just end the poll unless someone is about to hit submit. There we go. Thank you. All right. I'm sharing the results now. There we go.
Happy to read out the other for you, Av.
Yep.
For everyone else. Jennifer, other, think that AI tech is going to save us from doing the hard work of thinking. That's interesting.
Yeah, I love that one.
Yeah, and Debbie has put, don't know where to find their audience. That's a good one too.
Okay. Good. There's got a couple of here that are 50%, like half of you have selected it. Lack of connection with customer needs, and people focus on products only. We've got another 42% have said people copy others for ideas, content, and language. And the other one is people operate from a sense of fear and outer wounds. Very interesting. Fascinating results. Thank you for sharing that.
And we've got Bibi has selected other as well. Lack of clarity of how to communicate what they feel because it goes against current thinking.
Yep. Yeah. Love that. Absolutely. All right. I'm just going to move. Let's move on. So I believe these are the solutions to the biggest issues. Get crystal clear on your value, first of all. And by the way, the speed at which I say these is not the speed at which you will solve them. I just want to make that clear. I'll just go through this. Get crystal clear on who you truly are, your gifts and your genius. And note, this is not the product you sell. The product you sell is simply a part of that, okay? Get crystal clear on whom you are serving and what their deepest needs are. Get out of your own way so that you can shine through. Get crystal clear on your inner, what meaning gives you meaning and purpose, okay? And then communicate all of the above. in your unique voice. It's pretty simple, right? That to me is the solution. And there's a lot of work in that. It takes a lot of time, depending on how long you've been doing this for and how dedicated you are and how much you believe in yourself and your own value and what you want to bring to the world. Okay. I'm going to share my screen and I'm going to play a video for you, short 2-minute video. And this is an example of a business who is leading with purpose. They came to me, they wanted to change the way they communicated with the world because they weren't happy with it. They were seen as an everyday accounting practice. They probably had some identity, retention, engagement issues. Then they discovered and redefined their purpose. They believed in their value and the journey. They completely updated their website, which is the outer representation to the world of who they are. And then everything changed. They got better relationships, attracted better talent, higher retention. They got greater community engagement. They had a national presence and much more. So that's it in a nutshell. And I'm now going to share my screen. And one moment. The window's disappeared. Hang on a tick.
We can still see the slide presentation, Av. So
Yeah, I'm just going to have to do this. I don't know what you can see now. I'm sorry. I thought I had this all sorted.
You'll have to stop sharing a slide. And
I will, and I'm going to
two-step.
do this. Okay. All right. Are you ready? Now, there's a person in the audience that might recognize this. And I'd like to play this video. And this is a video that he had created in order to demonstrate to the world his meaning, his purpose, and why he was doing what he was doing. And remember, I said before, he was an accountant and completely changed his positioning and comes at this from purpose and values. So let me just play this very short video.
We all remember a time when life was simpler, less complex. We had time for one another. If we saw someone in need, we helped them without hesitating. But over time, this has changed. Everywhere around us, we see people are isolated and lacking connection with each other. Broken relationships are everywhere, and we've forgotten our connection with our community. Has our addiction to the expansion and growth at all costs come at the expense of the most vulnerable? Demand for services in our communities is on the rise, yet the experience and quality isn't always consistent. Our vulnerable are often left feeling like a number instead of a valued human being. Somehow, we've forgotten our past and the importance of connections, both with people and Mother Earth. We believe that organisations serving our community can make the biggest impact. We also believe Mother Earth has all the answers we need. What if organisations operated consistently and efficiently just like Mother Earth does? What if organisations could easily improve the lives of the vulnerable whilst also being financially sustainable? What if the vulnerable in our communities were so supported and connected they never felt isolated or alone? We believe we all deserve to live in a world where everyone is connected. Serving our vulnerable isn't about financial gain. It's about our humanity. Let's shift the world to reconnect ourselves to each other and the earth once more.
So, hope you enjoyed that. Okay, can you see my slides now?
Yes.
Yes.
Great. So now I want to do a little poll. And I want to ask you the question. Do you see the value in changing the way you're positioned to lead with your purpose, just like Cinch transformed did? It's a simple yes or no question. It should take you a few seconds to submit your answer. Okay, awesome. Now, that was a bit of a funny question, right? Despite if you the people that said no, I would love to know why. I'm kind of laughing because, yeah, if you've gotten to this point of my presentation, then maybe you don't believe or align with anything I've just said. And I hope that you do. So feel free to put your reasoning in the chat, and I'm always open to different perspectives. Now, I'm going to invite my friend Marty to speak, because one of the things that came up in a recent conversation with a bunch of people was about ego. And okay, we come at we present our marketing with ego, and that's one of the biggest problems, etc. And so we got talking, and Marty offered to speak for a few minutes on this. And my question to her is, can you describe how we can be less ego-driven in our marketing and our positioning, and why it's important to show up in a 6-star way? Like, how does that work? I'm going to hand over to her, because she's going to talk about this from a different level, and it's the level of us connecting in with our true self, okay? And then how we navigate, and therefore how we show up, and therefore how we market and evolve our businesses. So that's it in layman's terms, or in this simplified way. Marty, are you here?
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes, can hear you loud and clear.
All right. So let me just dive in here. And Av, I'll give you a clue, and I want that special slide up. Is that okay?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Excellent. All right. So you've been listening to Av's beautiful discussion of 6-star, and I hope you're getting an idea, a sense that being 6-star is really knowing who you are. It's really about your core purpose and what that's all about, how it serves the world. It's also about how you engage life and work through your creative expression, through your own genius, right? So it's your identity, essentially, in relationship with the world around you. That's what being 6-star is. Are you living your purpose given into the world around you? That's your creative expression. That's what we mean by being 6-star, right? Mm. So ideally, this outwardly connected identity that we try to establish through marketing is the same as your inner identity, how you are in relationship with yourself. But here's a problem that we all have, that most of us have been taught to believe that our inner identity is different from the outer one. And most of us have been taught that we need to create a better outer identity and kind of protect or hide the inner identity, or the ego, right? That's what we come to believe. And so if we separate our identities like this, we find ourselves, when it comes to business, we find ourselves speaking words and creating marketing communications that we know don't match who we are deep inside ourselves. And so our marketing isn't working. We don't feel like we're expressing ourselves. We're not reaching or doing what we want to do. And we don't know what's happening, right? So we need to understand why these identities, and especially your inner identity, are key to being 6-star and what's really happening. Now, I'm here to tell you, first and foremost, ego is not actually the problem. Your ego is wonderful. It's necessary. It has a specific job description, and that job description is to be the welcoming, nurturing home of your amazing personality. And that's it. Yes, ego is linked to your emotions, which are your responses to experience, because you have to know who you are and what you love in order to maintain a healthy ego. You have to know what's life positive for you. You have to also have natural, healthy defenses against what is not healthy for you. And all of this is programmed in at the ego level of our identity, but it's not the ego per se. All right. So there's another thing we need to know, which is that the ego is not the home of your core gift. Your core gift, your passion, your genius is deep inside you. Absolutely. And it's designed to reach out and connect in the world. It's an aspect of your collective or outward identity in some ways. But we can become so defended at the ego level that we can't even remember our own core genius, let alone bring it out in the world in any way. Now, we're stepping into or touching a very, very big topic, and there's a lot of detail to this. So what we want to do today is just get an understanding of what we're looking at. So it's important to realize what happens to us if we should get over-defended at that ego level of our identity. If we're nurturing, trying to hide our wounding, hide our apparent deficiencies, all those things, we know what makes us pull in. So what happens if our ego defenses are the most important thing to us is that all of our awareness begins to operate at that level. So we end up focusing on ourselves, getting enough for ourselves. We end up creating meaning through our ego defenses alone. Now, what few people realize is that the ego resides in a part of the brain that processes information in a very strict linear manner. Everything is processed in terms of causality, if this, then that, or either or choices, A or B. And the whole thing is set up so we are driven to go from point A to point B. And that's it. So if we're in this state, if our awareness is just operating in the ego protective regions of our brain, we can't hold two opposing or even complementary ideas and awareness at once. We have to constantly choose one thing or another to get where we're going. And we're reluctant to take risk because we have to get where we're going. That's what that part of the brain does. And so we'll be even more afraid of being wrong because then we'll have to defend more, and that takes a lot of energy. And we might be running out of energy. And we're definitely afraid of the unknown. Are you getting a feel for this? Right? So it's a very difficult place from which to operate and try to reach out in the world and be successful. So I thought of a metaphor, a visual metaphor, to help you understand what this looks like when we're caught at the ego level with our awareness processing information there versus what it could be if we actually get to 6-star. So Av, you have my special slide ready? There we go. All right. So look at the slide on the left, the picture on the left, that road, straight road through barren desert to some faraway point that we can barely even see. If we're really defended, we will do everything we can to stay on that road. It's familiar, it's straight, there won't be any surprises if only we can stay on it. We don't even want to know if there's anything in the surrounding geography because it would be a distraction. It would pull us off the road and we won't get there. We have to get there on our preset journey with no interruptions. Imagine trying to run your business that way. Yeah. And imagine the scarcity that starts to surface because there's nothing in the surrounding geography I dare resource, and the road is just the road is just the road. Can you feel what that does to your imagination, to your creativity, to your sense of safety even? So this is fully overly defended at the ego level. My awareness process is straight road, A to B, only there, nothing else. So we hope nobody's there. So let's say we could jiggle our awareness and get it a little bit loosened up so it's not just so driven in that first scenario and we end up on the middle road. And yeah, that's still a straight road. We're a little closer to the ground, nose to the grindstone, but we are kind of creating some beautiful benefits that we've grown some things along our path. And we have some resources. There's some green trees ahead of us on the roadside. But it's a little foggy ahead. It's hard to see. We're so busy trying to stay on that road and make something, right? So it's hard to see where we're going. And we're still really bound by scarcity because most of the leaves on those trees in this image are about to fall to the ground. So we know we're working kind of pretty well and we're expressing something, but we still won't take a risk to do anything more than that. Yeah. Or we could end up in the third image. Yeah, we could end up in the third image. If we kick our awareness free and really connect out into the world, one of the things that happens is those two identities, the inner identity and that outer identity, become the same. And so we are really functioning from the core of ourself, which is not your ego. The core of you is your passionate gift, your genius. The ego needs to be left alone, relaxed, just holding your personality. So if we learn to use our awareness differently, we end up in that third image. It's really the same road as the second image, but the experience is in larger dimensions of awareness and connection and action every moment, all along your journey path. There's nothing to defend, nothing to judge. There's only creativity and resilience and dynamic response to the landscape of your life and your business. And everything you do, your genius, how it works, what you offer, everything is visible and knowable, and your decisions are informed by everyone and everything you're connected to. You're able to hold more than one view at a time in awareness and work with multiple views. You're able to realize multiple levels of value of everything and amplify what you do and amplify the benefits you create through more interconnections than ever. There's no energy spent on fear or resistance. And instead of competing against others, you're cooperating and interacting in flow. Your old ideas of measuring progress, those annoying lagging indicators, they're replaced by new experiences of creativity and value and thriving in the moment. And I want you to really feel these images. They say much more than I ever could. It's not your ego. It's where your awareness is directed. It's whether you feel you have to hide from the world or you're learning by shifting how you use awareness to be in the world. Because the world has a lot of beautiful things to say to you. So now if we come back to what Aveline has discussed already, see how you might view yourself and the value of your core gift. Is it different now? Do you get a little taste, a little spark that you could travel in that third landscape? And from that place, you can begin to see how different your languaging would be and your positioning can be, and how you can be entirely uniquely 6-star you.
Wow. Thank you, Marty. That was absolute gold.
My pleasure.
Yeah, so appreciate that. And I hope for all of you there listening to that, you have just got a completely new sense of ego and, you know, bringing gifts to the world and the journeys. These visuals are just really powerful. Yeah, wow, thanks. So
Sure.
if anyone's got any comments or questions for Marty, feel free to put them in the chat. Okay. Anything that needs answering directly, we can deal with that at the end. But would love to hear your thoughts on what you just heard as a completely new way of approaching your marketing and bringing your gifts to the world. All right. Moving on, I want to then now pose this question to you. So what future do you want for yourself, for your family, for your inner circle, for your community, for the world? So what's the cost of doing nothing to you? So doing nothing means staying the same. Yeah. So in other words, just keep doing what you're doing. Nothing will change in your world, but it will change because the world is always changing. But it means that your results won't change. And the feelings, the frustrations, the dissatisfaction, that will also remain the same. The future, like the visual of the road that you just saw, can be uncertain. You know, you're going along that windy road. You don't know when it's going to turn left or right, but it's full of possibility, and that is life. Remember that you are the most important ingredient in your business. So tapping into your genius, into that inner higher self, right? Bringing that out without the layers of the doona wrapped around you. That is the most important goal. I think the most important thing that you can do, the biggest gift that you could give yourself, is to pull off the doonas and tap into who you are and approach the world from the third image on the previous screen. So the investment that you place in yourself now, whatever that is, creating new habits, doing things differently, tapping into yourself, figuring out the genius, figuring out your purpose, will pay dividends for your future. It'll change your life. And I was reminded recently, we had a podcast guest, Dean Mercado. If anyone has not listened to Six Star Business podcast that I host, Dean's from New York, and he's just come on, and we've done part 2, and his part 2 episode is being released tomorrow. Oh, today, sorry, today's Tuesday. It's today, which is so exciting. And he talks about this really passionately, that small business owners, us, whether we manage small or medium-sized business owners, but we're values-based business owners, we're people that care. We are the ones that have the ability to change the world. It's not big corporates. It's really not government, because government is informed by business largely. And it comes back to us. So what future do you want? And the world can only change when we can demonstrate and be our unique selves with our true value and genius. Now imagine that world. Imagine the world where business owners didn't have to compete, didn't have to do the sleazy stuff, didn't have to do, you know, all the things that I mentioned earlier. And remember, without healing your stuff, you'll continue to spin around on the same spot. Okay. I'm reminded by one of our wonderful 6-star members, to get what you never had, you need to do what you never did. So what's the next step for you? So I've presented all this information. Your head might be spinning a little bit. Your heart might be beating a little bit. There might be some confusion, some overwhelm, hopefully not. Hope you've taken some notes. I've created this. It's a scorecard, and I invite you to take it. It'll take you around 2 minutes, and it'll give you a score in 3 key areas that I believe are the most important areas when it comes to your marketing and positioning. So this is like just a little one. There's 12 questions. You'll get insights into some gaps and suggestions at the end of what to do to fix it. So you'll get a personalized score, you'll get some information on what you can do, and a structure. There's no cost, obviously, just go and do it. Now, hopefully one of my colleagues, 6-star colleagues, is popping that link in the chat. So you'll get clarity, insights, and inspiration. That's my goal. I want you to be inspired. I want you to take what you've learned today, go and do the scorecard and see what it tells you. And that should give you something visual to then validate the feelings or the knowing that you already had about the gaps and what you needed to do. This is what it looks like when you get there. Okay. You don't have to do it right now, but you can do it. Spend the 2 minutes when you get off this call and go and do it. Okay. I do offer a strategy call at the end. So when you get the screen where you get the results at the bottom, you'll see this at the bottom. You can click on get started and you can book a call with me. Ask for my expertise. Ask questions about your unique situation, and you might find some solutions that are just not clear right now. Okay. So that's on offer at the end of the scorecard. So just go and fill in, get your results, see what it looks like, see how you feel. And book in a call if you want to really start doing something differently. Now, we've got a few minutes. Has anyone got any questions? Or Steve, is there any, or Joanne, are there any questions in the chat that we need to answer now?
Not at this point.
Okay.
If I could just make a comment, because I'm a motorbike rider, as some of you know, and there is nothing worse than being on a straight road, going for miles and miles and miles. And it's just boring. It is just boring. You will get there quicker, but there is absolutely no value in it. But when you're on those long, twisty roads and the excitement and thrill of doing that, but where it takes you, that journey, it's actually a much more pleasant, even though takes longer. Your experiences are sometimes scary, depending, if you go too fast into a corner, or it gets a bit scary. So you need to pace yourself through that. So I love the analogy, Marty. Thank you. And
thanks for the bike experience, the metaphor as well. It's just like our business, right? It's just like the journey of our business and life. It's exactly the same. I love it. Thank you, Steve. All right. Please connect. So that's my email address, LinkedIn. That's the scorecard. Please go and do it. Have some fun. And if you want to connect, please drop your LinkedIn profile in the chat if you'd like to connect. And we would love to do that. And I just want to thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening, for being open and willing to learn something new. And hopefully I can be of service in the future, and that we'll see you again at another 6-star event, as we have these fairly regularly. So thank you very much, everyone. And I wish you a wonderful day, and go and do that scorecard. And I hope that you really got something from this that you can action in your business that can help move the needle for you.
Thanks, Av. That was awesome. And Marty, wow, what gold. What a treasure you are.
Thank you. My pleasure.
Amazing.
Very good. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jonathan. So lovely to see you.
We'll speak soon.
We will. Take care.
I have to skedaddle to another meeting. So that was amazing. Thanks, gals. So good.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Cheers. Bye now.
Bye-bye. Bye, Akila. There we go. Hang on, and I will just stop recording.